Today, I really want to talk about a match that might be under the radar. I'm not saying it's meta or OP, but it might have an actual place in Call of Dragons. And that is a support match that has Halloween and the one and only in this together. So let's talk about this match and understand why this could be potentially something special, especially with newer heroes coming into the game. Hello everyone, and yes, smash a like, comment and subscribe like always. But it is MrSneakyy here giving you Call of Dragons content, and you guys have been asking for some guides, and I'm kind of going through some hero guides that will be coming out on the channel, don't worry, they are coming. But I like doing these more interesting videos because these ones get you guys a bit more, thought-provoking. You get more engaged, and you actually think a little bit more creative, right? And I like the comment responses when we get to those videos, right? So the whole talking point today is about Halloween and Indis. And the whole point of this match and the basic premise of this match is a support match. It is a fifth match you would purposely bring out when you're trying to just find two good heroes that will actually help your other four main DPS actually excel even better, right? And it's just the basics right now, right? And I've got some really good things to showcase, especially when it comes to the artifact choices and obviously your pet choices. But the really big thing about this match is more about the talent page, right? And the talent page is very, very important because it's all about the control tree. And that's kind of where I want to say in the future, I think this could be something very, very special, right? I know we have Valen in the game, right? And he is obviously a great hero and he has access to the control tree, but I don't really want to see him as a support-based mage, right? I think there might be a future generational 3 or maybe generational 4 hero that could fulfill this need in the game, right? And what we're talking about is when we go into the talent page for Halloween, you're going to see why this is so powerful, especially when we get into his kit and why it synergizes so well with Indis and why this comes all together, right? So it's a very level 50 based talent page just to make it nice and fair for you guys. If you're wondering where all your rest of your points want to go, you will finish this foresight and get the mage speed just to make sure you are as fast as possible while you're in combat. It's the most important thing for this match. And then afterwards, if you've got any left over, what you're going to be doing is actually putting it into ambush and into tremble, right? So the whole purpose of this whole control support tree is a very special one. It's not designed for you individually with this match to get, merit. What it's designed to do is basically whoever you target with your 4 or 3x marches and you've brought this along to help support them, those other marchers will get way better trades from it. And the reason why is because of when you go into the deeper side of the control tree, we're taking ambush straight away, which is allowing us to launch normal attacks, inflicting defense breaks onto the target. And yes, it's a small amount, only 2% right now, but that's why I'm talking about when you've got spare points left over. Once you've completed this little area here, you will be putting more points into ambush to get this higher. Breaking their defense by 5% is actually really OP for your march. And as well, when you look into it, you're going to get tremble, and tremble's the same thing, but when you cast your rage skill. And this march is really good at casting rage skills due to the fact of having soul siphon and head held high. You'd be surprised how many people might try and target this because they see an Halloween, but they don't realize how tanky this match really, really is when we get into the skill side of things. So having this is a really good thing. You're having 3% less attack on them, and then on top of all of this, right, you are obviously silencing the target, stopping them from casting any sort of rage skill. And with this, you've got 1, 2, 3 really powerful debuff abilities, and then on top of this, just to help you get into battle, what you've got is blindside, and I love this, right? So whenever you enter battle with that target, you're going to reduce their march speed by only 6%. But that extra little bit of march speed reduction on them is going to allow your 3 other marchers that are behind this to catch up and actually start targeting and finish that match off with whoever in your alliance is targeting down, right? So it's a really, really powerful tree, and there is payoffs for obviously playing like this. We do get to trigger Backstabber a lot of the time, as you can imagine, as well as Sage. We do this so well because we inflict so many debuffs, so we are going to increase our own damage outright. So when we go into now Alwyn and his skills, especially when we pair this up with Indis, what you're going to see is a very common theme here. It's a theme of being supported in the right fashion, and you need to be tanky, you can't take damage, and you do need to provide some sort of CC debuff to that match. So straight away, this is great. We have a nice little bit of damage on our epic hero. It's great single target DPS, but the more important thing is the ensnare, right? We get to ensnare targets with this, meaning they are getting slower and slower with that march speed reduction. And on top of this, his fourth skill is the same thing. He has a chance, whenever he's hit with a normal attack, he's gonna fling it back and basically give them an ensnare. So you have a really good way of basically slowing down enemies in two different manners, either being offensively or defensively with this unit, right? On top of this, you're getting a 15% normal attack damage reduction, which people will overlook, and it is a massive big damage reduction when you actually compare it with Indis, because Indis is actually going to provide you as well with 50% counter attack damage reduction. So if you are potentially a T4 player and you might have not looked correctly and you've hit that T5 player, don't worry, 50% is cut away. You're not going to get melted instantly like you would normally do with this match. And on top of this, as you can know, with Indis, you're going to have that Infirm. And Infirm is obviously the secondary key factor of this whole support match, right? You're slowing down targets, you're debuffing targets, and then you're implying an Infirm onto those same targets, allowing all of your other marchers now to do 20% extra damage taken for 3 seconds if she is awakened. If she's not awakened, it will only be for 2 seconds, but that's still fine for your march, right? So you're probably wondering, Sneaky, right? I want to run this march, how can I run it, right? So straight away, the minimal I will say you want to have is a 5115 hero. This hero, as soon as you have a 5115, you'll feel the difference. You are applying the debuff, and you're actually not dying as fast as you would have assumed with this 50% reduction of counterattack. Once you've got this, you can imagine the only logical route is when you get Indis at 5155. If you're lucky enough, if you're not, don't worry, she is just the free hero. Let the game do its job, and eventually you'll get her awakened, right? So this is a really powerful match, as you can see. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm really excited about it, and I wanted to tell you guys about it because, again, like I said, maybe future commanders coming in or future heroes coming in the game for Call of Dragons is going to allow you to substitute out Alwyn, right, for someone else with maybe a control magic and something else tree that's going to allow them to do some crazy stuff on the battlefield, right? So when we're coming into the final part of the video, and I did mention it, was the artifact and the pet suggestions, right? Because this does change things up, and I was using, and I didn't think it would have worked, but it does. Dagger of Betrayal on this march was disgustingly good, and I was so scared to see it work. I honestly thought the range of this was the range of a, marksman unit, but it's not. It's the actual full range of a mage. If you put this on your mage unit, I promise you, if you leave this on autocast, you are gonna see it as soon as anyone walks into its AoE, and it's so quickly it does it. It's just gonna go boom and take that big buff off them, and it's really, really good, especially when you're targeting down certain players, especially if they're, away from groups. It's really good. But it's nice that you're able to bring this in on a support match, strip away buffs even further every 8 seconds, and deal a bit of damage. So this is a really powerful one. If you're wondering how to get it, you have to honestly spin the Forge of Light, and it is one of the epic rewards for doing so. But if you don't have this, you can imagine Tear of Arbon is an all-star in this slot, right? Because you are getting everything you want. So much defense on top of this healing on your marchers, right? So all of your mage marchers around, again, are going to get supported from this one artifact. You can keep them sustained up, keep the damage output up, right? So easy choice, right? A more offensive choice though, and I love this artifact too, and I know Guns, if he's watching this video, will probably be in his chair absolutely happy with me saying this right now, but it is the Breath of Gigantis, man. This is a more offensive choice in the support slot, but it does, as you can imagine, a more devastating role, right? This will give you a bunch of attack, which will help that role, you know, that support role do a little bit more DPS, even though that's not its job. But the fact that you're inflicting this defense break, whew, boys, if you time this when your rage skills are about to pop off, you will do some insane DPS onto those targets. So it's a really powerful one that you can apply as well. If you're wondering if for more friendlier ones, maybe you could try some stuff like, when I can find it, the obvious Staff of Spring. This is a little bit more, you know, the worst of the worst. I'd only equip this if you have really nothing else at your disposal. Or if you really want to be a bit adventurous, or if you notice you get targeted a lot and you're not using any infantry, the Frozen Ring, man, the Frozen Ring is really good. If you get targeted a lot, you could just, you know, use this to purposely absorb damage while your team, you know, surrounds you and then kills those guys, right? So really good option too. So there's a bunch of different things you can honestly take, as you can see, in the artifact slot. I honestly do believe, though, the tier is the one of the best you can bring, as you can imagine, with the Breath of Gigantis and the sword, man. This sword, or this Dagger of Betrayal, was insane when I was using it on this march, right? So pet-wise is really easy. You've got a mage march, and you can go a variety of ways with this, right? If you want to go complete support, and you really want to be a complete support, you can just put the Ice Lizard on. Yeah, you're not going to be doing damage, but the whole purpose of this is to obviously reduce their march speed with the frozen triggers, right? And if you've brought maybe that while the Valen and your Valen is awakened, obviously your Valen's going to get benefited because it's frozen. The march is frozen. He's going to get triggered. Boom, 400 damage, dab, have a good time, right? So you can do stuff like that too, which is really cool. And obviously slowing down marches allows you to kill them. If you don't want to do this, you can obviously go a bit more single target heavy, which is honestly the Thunder Lizard. This thing dishes out some insane damage, and people don't obviously look at it because they see the good old Sapphire Phaedric. And don't get me wrong, the Sapphire Phaedric is a great one, but you can see it's nowhere near the same damage factor, even with all of this on it, right? So you could run the Sapphire Phaedric. The beauty of it, though, if you do run the Sapphire Phaedric, is if you run one similar to this, if you really wanted to, have that split Pain Bloom on. And what you could honestly add to this pet would be the skill interruption, right? Interruption allows you to get those enemy war pets offline. So if we go into the actual war pet screen, I can show you that so you guys can understand what I'm talking about. For that, boom, them skills, interruption, there we go. So you could put something like this on that pet too, right? So if you really wanted to go super support, this is a really good way too of just turning off enemy pets, especially if you're going to do the split way, and you can do that. You can also use interruption, which is really funny, on your Venomous Lizard, and you can use this on that same march. So you can do a variety of things. The Venomous Lizard is more of a, if you get targeted a lot, maybe put this on with, you know, some nice, decent skills, and you'll pump out AoE damage. If you want to slow down targets, here's your Ice Lizard, right? If you want to do a little bit of AoE damage and try some funky stuff, obviously, you can use your Sapphire Phaedric. And then, obviously, if you want big burst damage, Thunder Lizard, right? The only other pet I do want to mention, and some people do have it, is this Sand Lizard, right? You could run the Sand Lizard too, but I wouldn't run it with the self-heal, right? So all you want on this pet, if you're going to run it in this slot, is going to be your, obviously, Stone Aura. And then what you're going to want is the Hasty one, right? So you can keep up on your Stone Aura. So the more healing you're doing to all of your, you know, area of effect allies, aka your marchers, you're gonna get the best out of it. So you can definitely do that with this support match, right? So that's pretty much it. Halloween and Indis, it is just a nice free-to-play friendly support combo at the moment, but it's more to get people on the attention of it, right? Look at the build, look at the talents, look at the theory of it, and don't just shut it down because, yes, it's just Indis with Halloween. It's just silly. Some people will do that. Think of it as a new path, right? Where potentially we're going to get a new mage hero and he's going to be able to replace Halloween. And that is the major thing with it, right? So if you've enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Smash a like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next one, stay safe, stay sneaky, and peace out.